So let's talk about the job, if you will, and how people look at jobs. What are the myths of employment versus having your own business? And I'm sure there's
Oh, wow.
there's some myths too about having your own business too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they
Actually,
say the
yeah,
grass
we
is
should
greener
maybe
on.
talk about both of those. That's actually very good. Yeah, the myth about, of course, the myth about the job is that you're good. I'm safe.
Right.
I'm okay. I got benefits. I'm looked after. I just need to ride this thing out till I'm 65 and I'll be all right. That's the
And?
myth.
And the reality is,
Well, the reality is that people change careers how many times? I mean, Alberto here will probably change careers 5 or 6 times in his life to something different. I don't know specifically those numbers. I'd love to share those with you, but different directions, different paths. He'll be out of work. He'll be challenged with all of those things. And as he gets a little older, the picture gets a little harder. You know, in another one of our broadcasts, we talked about the challenges of the older worker and what they're up against.
Right.
So that's the myth, you know, but I mean, it's sort of like you're an ostrich and you got your head in the sand a little bit.
Right.
And of course, the myth in business ownership is there too.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's all easy. This just in, get to work. Because you think you worked hard before, working harder you're going to be working just as hard in most cases for yourself as you build value or you build something for yourself into that.
Right.
And the success rate on pure entrepreneurialism. And what I mean by that is pure entrepreneurialism is where, you know, you just start on your own. I'm going to do all the marketing. I'm going to do all the sales. I'm going to do all the accounting.
Right.
I'm going to do all the legal. I'm going to do all of the bookkeeping. I'm going to do whatever else it is, and I'm going to keep pace with technology. I'm going to hire all these resources. I got to get all these marketing materials together. It's a hard go with the speed and rate of change that things come at you. It's hard to keep up. But, you know, wealth is generated through business ownership.
Yes.
You know, 80% of the wealth held in North America is a result of business ownership.
Right.
But the sad fact in that entrepreneurialism is that 95% of entrepreneurs are making less than $50,000 a year. So that should scare you enough to think twice about staying in your job.
Right.
So what's the solution, right?
What is the solution?
Franchising.
Okay.
Because
so it reduces the risk because
Well, yeah.
you're buying into a tried and true system. Is that right?
Yeah, well, 85%, exactly, and 85% of the people that start a franchise are still in those business 5 and 6 years down the road.
Right.
But, you know,
That's a pretty amazing statistic.
Well, yeah, will you have your job in 5 or 6 years?
Who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. You
Right.
don't know. And, you know, so there's just a lot of great number around that, you know, and in fact, here's an interesting number that came up the other day. It was from a friend of mine in Cape Cod who said, that 80%, that if you, see if I'll make sure I get this right, if you were making 100,000 before and you lost your job, your 80, you have an 80, you're probably, your next job will have at least a 20% reduction in
Right.
what you'll make. So you'll make 80,000.
Yeah.
And God forbid you lose your job again, because that's going to happen to you
Right.
all over
Then
again.
you'll make even less.
Because that's, yeah, it's
When
just,
you find another job.
well,
If you find another job.
if you do.
Right.
And so those are really hard realities that go. So, but if you look at it on a map and you look at the idea of the job first and versus, you know, versus business ownership, franchise business ownership, the job will win in the first year. You're going to make more money, right?
Sure, there's no cost, right? I mean, aside from the time that it takes to finally find a job, once you're in there,
Yeah, you're in. You know, you're going to be.
for some period of time
Yeah.
anyway, until they restructure
Sure.
and they close your department or something like
Well,
that.
that'll happen, or maybe happen, or you may get lucky. But the other part of it, so start your business against that. The business, you know, you're going to struggle, but you've invested in yourself.
Right.
And you have an asset in most cases. And what'll happen is that asset now, you start putting value and sales. So you still have the asset, and now you're putting sales into it, and you're creating goodwill and a lot of other good things. So give the job, give the scorecard to the job first year, give it to them, they win. Let's move to the second year. The business is worth more. The asset is more, you got more value, got something to resell. You're starting to take salary out. Oh, by the way, you probably got a raise in your job, you may have got 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go. That'll pay the taxes.
Right.
And now we go into the third year, and now you're driving. Your business should be primed, rolling, good things going. You're not talking about 3% increases. Who knows what you're talking about? As much as you're willing.
Right. 20,
you could be
30
doubling. You
more,
could even
yeah.
doubling the size of your business or
Right.
beyond, depending on the momentum that you build in it. Now who's winning? Oh, and by the way, what do I have to sell?
You have an asset that has equity in it, right?
Sure, exactly.
Right. And then if you decide you want to sell and it's time to move on, it's when you decide.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not.
Big difference.
Yeah, I love my boss.
Right. Exactly.
And so I don't see that. And you look at that, and it's just a message that people don't clearly get, I think.